Be honest with me for a second. When you hear the word self-compassion, what comes to mind? Maybe the words self-care or self-love come to mind, which then could lead you picturing someone letting themselves off the hook, or staying in bed all day, or eating whatever they want, or avoiding hard things because they don't feel like doing them. It's a treat yourself kind of thing, right? If that's what you pictured, I get it. That's what many people think self-compassion means. But that's actually the opposite of what it is. Hey, it's Coryne, your mental performance coach for everyday life. And welcome back to Everyday MVP. Today, we're talking about self-compassion, not as a form of self-indulgence, but as a skill, one that helps you manage stress, recover from setbacks, and keep showing up for the life you want to live. Because here's what self-compassion actually is. It's valuing your own health and well-being enough to do the hard things. It's drinking more water, going to the gym when you don't feel like it, resting when your body needs rest, nurturing those relationships, getting outside, setting up that dentist appointment you've been putting off. Sometimes self-compassion looks like pushing yourself to do what's good for you, and sometimes it looks like giving yourself permission to rest. The goal isn't to make yourself comfortable. The goal is to support yourself well. The key is asking, what's truly supportive right now? That's not soft. That's actually really hard. And here's why self-compassion matters. Research suggests that the 3 components within self-compassion help us regulate difficult emotions, recover from setbacks more effectively, and experience less stress along the way. In other words, when you practice self-compassion, you get better at handling hard things without being derailed by them. Amazing. Self-compassion has 3 components: self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. And together, these 3 skills give you a framework for responding to yourself and to life with more grace and less suffering. Let's walk through all 3. The first is self-kindness. Self-kindness is responding to perceived failure, inadequacy, or disappointment with understanding, with acceptance, with patience towards yourself, rather than with harsh self-criticism. And I want to be clear about what that actually means. Being kind to yourself doesn't mean being positive all the time. It doesn't mean lying to yourself in the mirror. It doesn't mean letting yourself off the hook. It means talking to yourself like you would a best friend, being honest with yourself, allowing yourself to feel what you feel, telling yourself to keep going when you make mistakes, and learning from failure instead of being destroyed by it. Here's a question I want you to sit with. Would you talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself when you fail? Most of us wouldn't. And yet, we do it to ourselves without even noticing. That's where self-kindness begins. Noticing the voice and choosing a different one. If you want to go deeper on self-kindness and how the way you talk to yourself and about yourself shapes what you believe about yourself, go back and listen to my episode called Just Say Thank You. The way you talk about yourself matters. The second component is common humanity. Common humanity is the recognition that all of our experiences, both the good and the painful, are part of the shared human experience. That every person on this planet is imperfect. Every person makes mistakes. Every person experiences failure, loss, doubt, and struggle. You are not the only one. Dr. Kristen Neff, one of the leading researchers on self-compassion, puts it this way. Self-pity says, poor me. Self-compassion recognizes that suffering is part of the shared human experience. The pain I feel in difficult times is the same pain you feel in difficult times. The triggers are different. The circumstances are different. The degree of pain may be different. The basic experience is the same. Viktor Frankl described it beautifully in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. A person's suffering is similar to the behavior of gas. If any amount of gas is pumped into an empty chamber, it will fill the chamber completely and evenly, no matter how big the chamber. And so suffering completely fills the human soul, no matter whether the suffering is great or little. Your pain isn't smaller because someone else's looks bigger. And someone else's pain isn't less real because yours feels heavier. Suffering is suffering. We all know what it feels like. That shared experience, that's what connects us. And when you truly internalize that you are not alone in your struggle, something shifts. You become less isolated in your pain, less judgmental of yourself and others, less harsh when you make mistakes. Because you realize that making mistakes isn't a sign that something is wrong with you, it's a sign that you're human. The third component is mindfulness. Mindfulness, in the context of self-compassion, means not over-identifying with the uncomfortable feelings that arise after failure or during struggles, but maintaining this sense of balanced awareness of them instead. So, what does over-identifying actually look like? It's when you attach more meaning and weight to an emotion than is necessary. When you tell yourself, I'm sad, therefore I'm weak. I'm angry, which means I'm out of control. I failed, which means I'm a failure. These are all over-identifications. Being sad doesn't make you weak. Feeling angry doesn't make you out of control. An emotion is just an emotion, nothing more. Mindfulness asks you to just be, to be in the moment, in the present, to observe it, describe it, and then participate with it. Let me give you 2 examples. Maybe you lose your patience with your kids and raise your voice. Over-identifying sounds like, I'm a terrible parent. They're going to remember this forever. I always do this. Mindfulness sounds like, I feel frustrated and overwhelmed right now. That's human. Now observe it. Name the emotion you are feeling. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling guilty. I'm feeling exhausted. Describe it. Where do you feel that frustration in your body? Maybe your chest is tight. Maybe your jaw clenched. Maybe your shoulders tight. Just notice it without judging it. And then participate. What's the most effective thing I can do with this feeling right now? Maybe it's taking 3 deep breaths before re-engaging. Maybe it's stepping outside for a moment. Maybe it's going back to your kids and saying, I'm sorry, I lost my patience. That was the emotion moving through you, not defining you. Here's another one. Maybe you've been trying to eat healthier and you completely fall off track. Over-identifying sounds like, I have no willpower. I'll never change. I always do this. What's the point? Mindfulness sounds like, I feel frustrated with myself right now. That's understandable. Observe it. I'm feeling disappointed. I'm feeling like I let myself down. Describe it. Maybe it's a heaviness in your chest. Maybe it's a sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach. And then participate. Maybe it's reminding yourself that one bad day doesn't erase your progress. Maybe it's getting back on track at the next meal instead of waiting until Monday. The emotion is information, not a verdict. That's the observe, describe, participate method. And it's one of the most powerful tools for staying present with your emotions without being taken over by them. So here's your MVP challenge this week. First, notice which component you're already good at. Which one comes naturally to you? Are you generally kind to yourself? Do you naturally feel connected to others in your struggles? Or are you pretty good at observing your emotions without being taken over by them? Take a moment and appreciate that. Then from there, pick the component you struggle with the most. Do you struggle with being kind to yourself? Do you struggle with feeling isolated and alone in your pain? Or do you struggle with letting your emotions get the best of you? That's the one to focus on and practice this week. Now, if it's self-kindness, the next time you catch yourself being harsh, stop and ask, would I say this to a friend? If the answer is no, write down what you would say to a friend in that moment, and then say it to yourself instead. If it's common humanity, the next time you're struggling or feeling alone in something, reach out to one person you trust. A call, a text, whatever feels right. Tell them what you're going through and let them remind you that you're not alone. That one shift from isolation to connection can change everything. If it's mindfulness, the next time a big emotion comes up, try the observe, describe, participate method. Name what you're feeling. Notice and describe where you feel it in your body. And ask yourself, what's the most effective thing I can do with this feeling right now? One component, 1 week, one small action at a time. Because that's how these skills get built. Self-compassion isn't about being easy on yourself. It's about being kind enough to keep going, connected enough to know you're not alone, and aware enough to feel without being consumed. And remember, Mindlead team, your most valuable player is you. Every day is a new day. Breathe in, breathe out. You've got this.